Hi, today I want to talk about how occupational therapists can help individuals self-manage chronic conditions in order to prevent decline. Chronic illnesses are characterized by their long-term and oftentimes incurable nature. Chronic illnesses often cause functional impairments and can be very debilitating in multiple areas, including self-care activities, instrumental activities of daily living, rest and sleep, education, work, play, leisure, and social participation. Essentially, all facets of life can be impacted by the presence of a chronic condition. As the healthcare industry begins to shift towards a culture of prevention, occupational therapists have the opportunity and responsibility to help empower individuals through self-management of their chronic conditions. Self-management in this sense is defined as strategies persons undertake to control disease, promote health, and live well within illness. And this definition is from Audley 2013. Throughout this documentary, we will go over the ways an occupational therapist is uniquely skilled to promote health management of chronic conditions. Oftentimes, the changes associated with chronic illnesses, including pain, fatigue, loss of motivation, and changes in physical abilities, can make everyday tasks difficult or unsafe. As expert in self-care, or activities of daily living, and in home management tasks, or instrumental activities of daily living, OTs are the best suited professionals to address the performance deficits a person may experience. OTs can work with the person to sustain their current level of functioning or improve their status in these areas that the person is not satisfied with. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
So last time I remember we talked about how your arthritis is impacting your life, and you mentioned that cooking has always been a huge part of your life.
Yes.
And that you've been having a lot of trouble with cooking lately?
I am. I used to have an apple a day. Now I can't even do that anymore.
Yeah, and why can't you have an apple anymore?
I can't hold the knife anymore to cut it.
So
I've been eating applesauce.
Okay. So what else about cooking has been difficult? Is it mostly the knife?
It's holding anything small. I need a bigger grip, and I don't have much. All of my pots and pans are all tiny grips.
Okay. Well, then that's something that we'll definitely be working on throughout our therapy session. Once the OT works with the client to identify performance deficits, the therapist can then break down the activities the client is having trouble with and teach the client techniques to modify the activities so that the demands do not exceed the client's abilities. Okay, Katie, so can you show me how you usually would cut an apple?
Now, I can't grip it.
Okay, so since it's hard for you to grip, what I'm going to have you do is use this adapted apple cutter, because this will protect your joints because you don't need to grip really hard. You can just take it and push down using the palms of your hands. So can you show me how you can do that?
I like this. I don't have to grip.
And how does that feel on your hands?
A lot easier.
Great. So I think that the adapted apple cutter will be something that you will be able to use. And do you ever cut anything besides apples?
I used to. I used to cook all my meals, but now since I can't cut, I've been getting takeout.
Okay, so since it hurts you and we really want to protect your joints so that they don't cause further damage, I'm going to order some knives with built-up handles so that you won't have to grip as tightly, and it'll really be able to protect these joints and it'll still allow you to chop up the food that you want to chop so you can start cooking again. Occupational therapy prides itself on being a client-centered profession, and in this way, OTs are the ideal profession to work on prevention of decline in terms of chronic conditions. The manifestation of a chronic illness varies greatly between individuals, and OTs are skilled in their ability to make adaptations to the self-management routine based on the specific needs of the person that they're working with.
So I know you had talked about protecting my joints and everything, but my hands hurt even when I'm not using them all the time, and I don't know what to do about that.
Okay, well, there's a couple of adaptations that we can make for you specifically to help you self-manage your arthritis. And one of the things that I would suggest is trying out compression gloves. So why don't you try these on and I'll tell you a little bit about them. So compression gloves are going to reduce inflammation, and that is part of the reason why you have pain with arthritis. And then it's also going to help to stabilize the joints so you have a little more mobility. So why don't you try these on until our next session, which is 3 days from now. And then you can let me know how it's working for you. And if it doesn't work, we'll make another adaptation so we can really get down to your self-management plan. The acquisition of a chronic condition is associated with many changes. Change is hard, and so oftentimes people are resistant to change, which can interfere with their ability to self-manage. OTs can help the client integrate these changes into their existing habits and routines in order to minimize the interference of health management tasks on the person's everyday lives. With the help of an OT, self-management can be built into the person's day instead of completely taking over existing routines or being ignored altogether. All right, Katie, so in the last couple of weeks, I know I've taught you a lot of exercises to try to strengthen your hand muscles. And how have those been going for you?
I really haven't been doing them. By the time I remember, it's too late and I'm already in bed and I don't want to get out of bed and do them, so I just never do them.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that happens a lot when you introduce new exercises. It can be kind of hard to remember to do them throughout the day. So what does your typical day look like then?
I wake up, I have a cup of coffee, I read the newspaper, I go for a walk, I come home, watch TV, I watch Wheel of Fortune every day, and then I have dinner and I go to bed.
Okay, great. So is Wheel of Fortune something you do every single day, or is that kind of just, do you watch that when you can?
I do it every single day. It's my one show I watch.
Okay, great. Then could you maybe start doing your exercises during the commercials of Wheel of Fortune, so then that can kind of be what reminds you to do them?
Never even thought about that, but I possibly could.
Okay, well, why don't you try that out, and then next week we'll talk again and see how that's working for you. OTs are unique in that they do not just address the physical and environmental components of chronic conditions, but acknowledge that there's a strong emotional component as well. OTs are a key tool to help the client develop coping strategies and learn to live best within the means of their chronic condition. It can be overwhelming to deal with the acquisition of a chronic illness, but OTs work with the client to best support physical and psychosocial well-being. Through providing a support system and empowering the client to self-management, OTs help the client live the lives they want to live and to not be restricted by their chronic illness. So since you've been diagnosed with arthritis, have you noticed any changes in your mood or your stress levels?
I don't do as much as I used to do. Now I'm more stressed because I can't do the stuff that I used to do, and I don't like it anymore.
And, stress and feeling sometimes down is a really natural part of being diagnosed with a chronic condition like arthritis. But let's think about ways in the past when you've been feeling really stressed. What have you done to kind of keep that stress in check and get regrounded?
I used to listen to music, and then also I used to read the books on tape, and I don't do those anymore.
Okay, well, whenever you're feeling stressed or you are thinking about the things that you can't do because of your arthritis, I think that listening to music and listening to books on tape are both things that shouldn't be affected. So do you think it'd be plausible to start doing that again and try to help that make you not stressed?
I could probably listen to the music. I don't know if I could do the books on tape though yet.
Okay, well then let's just start off with the music and see how that works for you. Living with a chronic condition isn't always easy, and self-management can be a huge task. But with the support of an OT, people with chronic illness can take control over their lives and be empowered through self-management. By effectively managing such conditions, people are able to prevent further decline and maintain their optimal level of function. As experts of function, it is essential that occupational therapists are included on the healthcare team of each of the 130 million Americans affected by chronic illness.